Welcome everyone. Today is going to be direct. This is not a motivational session. This is a diagnostic conversation about the hidden behavioral and structural signals organizations send before performance visibly declines. Most organizations don't suddenly break. They drift. And the signals appear long before leaders recognize what's happening. So let's get into it. The hidden signals your organization is slowing down. Your live diagnostic. But before we begin, we like to begin at Empower People with responsibility. Repeat silently or aloud our Empower People oath. I, Tiffany Joy Greene, do solemnly swear to accept a lifelong obligation to hone my superhero powers and apply those superhero powers to the good of the people I serve. I will promote and add to the ongoing success of Empower People, its members, and the people, organizations, and communities it serves. I will help prepare the next generation of superheroes. I am driven to be a positive change agent for those I serve and interact with. And now let's take a moment and do superhero pose. Hands on the hips, shoulders back, head held high, looking off into the distance. And this is superhero pose that will give you a dose of empowerment. Feel free to take as many doses during the day as you see fit. So I'm not here to overload you with frameworks. I'm here to help you recognize patterns, because most leaders already feel something slowing down before they can actually explain it. So today we're going to identify what those signals are actually. Let's talk about the first signal. People stop pushing back. They soften concerns. They stop raising difficult truths in real time, not because they don't care, but because they no longer believe honesty changes outcomes safely. And that changes everything. So the first signal is people stop being fully honest. So I'd like you to think about your organization. What conversations feel more filtered than they used to? Where are people becoming careful instead of candid? Now, I want you to take a piece of paper and a pen or pencil, or utilize your technology apps to take a moment. I'm going to give you a minute to answer those questions. Jot some notes and ideas down. Again, what conversations feel more filtered than they used to? And where are people becoming careful instead of candid? And the minute starts. Okay, pencils down. As you took some time to think about that and jot some ideas and notes down, really observe and take in what conversations are no longer happening openly in your organization, because that's the first signal. Now let's talk about the second signal. Organizations slow down when people begin waiting instead of moving, checking instead of deciding, deferring instead of owning. Most leaders interpret this as a performance issue. Like, are they lazy? Are they not motivated? But actually, the truth is, it's usually structural. The organization has actually trained the caution. So, I would like for you to think about that. Remember, hesitation replaces ownership. Take a moment, and I'm going to give you a minute actually to think about that second signal. Where are you seeing, jot down on that piece of paper or in your app, jot down where you're seeing hesitation replacing ownership. Where are people checking instead of deciding, waiting instead of moving, deferring instead of owning? Take a minute. Okay. Now we're going to go into the third signal. Okay. Decisions begin climbing the organization. Approvals multiply. People start seeking confirmation constantly. The leader becomes a default clarity source. That creates organizational gravity, or as I like to call it, decision gravity. So everything starts slowly falling back to the top. Everything starts routing upward. That's the third signal. So I'm going to ask you to take another moment to reflect. Be honest. What inside your organization is waiting on you right now? Approvals, direction, decision making. The answer actually reveals a dependency pattern. So I'm going to give you a minute to answer that question. What currently cannot move without you? What is waiting on you right now? Approvals, direction, decision making, what is it? And let's begin. Minute. Time's up. What do your answers reveal? Let's move on to the fourth signal. When organizations slow down, leaders start having the same conversations repeatedly. Feel like Groundhog Day? because root causes were never structurally resolved. So friction keeps recreating itself, and that repetition, it's not random, it's diagnostic. So I'm going to give you another minute. I want you to consider, what conversations are you having over and over again? What conversations are on repeat? I'll give you a minute. Time's up. We're going to now move into the fifth signal. Most organizations still look functional while momentum is quietly disappearing. People stay busy, meetings continue, tasks get completed, but execution feels heavier. That's because friction compounds before results visibly collapse. So momentum disappears before performance does. So before the dashboard shows a lack of performance, you're already feeling it. So the question I want you to consider for the next minute is, because this is one of the most revealing questions a leader can ask, where does progress feel harder than it should right now? Because that heaviness usually points directly to structural friction. Again, where does progress feel harder than it should right now? Okay, time is up. Where does your organization actually feel heavier than it should right now? So when we look at all the signals, it points to a real issue, right? Most organizations try solving slow down with more meetings, more communication, more accountability, more pressure. But effort does not eliminate structural friction. It amplifies it. So what needs to change is the system itself. The problem is rarely effort. If you're looking at all those signals, the problem is rarely effort, right? It's the design. So this is the shift. Leaders must stop adapting to dysfunction and start identifying what is structurally creating it. Because hidden signals always point somewhere. And when leaders learn to read them correctly, clarity returns. Again, you need to stop managing around the friction and diagnose what's creating it. So this is exactly what I do in a reset session. In about 1 hour, we identify where decisions are breaking, where dependency exists, and what needs to change. No guessing, no theory, just clarity. I invite you to schedule a reset with me. The link is in the chat if you're joining this live diagnostic right now, or if you're watching this on a social media platform, the link is going to be in the comments. I invite you to a reset session with me, and I will help you decide where decisions are breaking, where dependency exists, and what needs to change. At this point, you already know, right? You can feel where the friction exists. You can recognize where hesitation is increasing, and you can identify where momentum has started slowing. The question now is whether you continue managing around those signals or address what's structurally creating them. If you're ready for clarity, reply reset or schedule a reset session. And let's identify where your organization is actually getting stuck. Thank you for attending today's live diagnostic. Empower people, we're here for you. Let's evolve together.